how are we gonna intro this one?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're the DM.
I don't know if I should. Yeah, I don't know if I should just start or if I should.
Why don't you roll for it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Roll to start.
I rolled a 5, y'all. It's gonna be a long night.
We're from worlds unknown. Our stories untold. Roll away the dice. We'll vanquish the darkness. See the fear in its eye. Unlocking the magic. Just take my hand. We hold the keys to the kingdom.
Hey guys, so this episode delves into a lot of character building, and I'm so excited about the way it turned out, and I would hate to break it up in the middle. So before we get this episode started, I wanted to thank some people. Firstly, as you just heard, we have a new theme song. It's called Unlocking the Magic by Brittany J. Smith. She's an amazing singer, songwriter, and influencer. You can find her on YouTube at youtube.com/Brittany J. Smith. Secondly, shout out to David Smith Jr. He is the artistic genius that designed our album artwork, and he mixed, mastered, and edited this episode. He actually co-hosts a pop culture podcast called Podzilla. He and his other co-host, Braden Walker, do deep dives into a lot of pop culture stuff. So if that is what you're into, go and check them out. I promise you will not regret it. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at KTTKcast for updates. And I am excited to announce that we now have an official Discord server. There you'll be able to find character sheets, maps, links to different things, and so much more. There's even a section for you guys to ask us questions. So if you have any questions for the cast or just want to join our community, the link will be on our Twitter and in the episode bio. If you're wanting to support the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, good, bad, whatever it is, we want to hear from you guys. And that also helps our podcast kind of get out there and get to more people. So we would really appreciate that. And without further ado, here is episode 5. Everyone, here's what I need you to do. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh. Really?
Right
I'm
off
just
the
jumping
jump.
right into this.
Right off the gate.
Yep.
Oh boy.
All right, so I've got a 13.
I have
Okay.
an 11.
8 plus 4 is 12.
17.
Of course, our
Okay.
D10.
Starting off strong.
Tricks, you open your eyes and all you see is cross-stitching and a faded light in the distance. You can see silhouettes moving around in front of this faded light, and you can hear murmurs of people talking. You gonna move or anything?
I try to see. I don't move much. I try to see if I can get a clearer view of my surroundings without really letting anybody know. Like I want to move the least amount possible
Okay.
in case.
Okay, so I'll make it a little bit easier for you. You try to move, and you realize that your arms are tied behind your back, and you're sitting against a tree.
Oh, I'm upright. I'm not laying down. Okay.
No, you're sitting,
Okay.
but you are tied. Your arms are tied behind your back, and the rope is tied around a tree. You can feel that just by leaning back against the tree.
That I saw cross stitching.
Yeah, it looks like you're looking through a burlap sack that's over your head.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So
I
nobody
wonder
can
if you
see
have
that
a
my eyes are
burlap
open
sack
then.
over your head.
Oh,
Roll an insight
mystery,
check.
intrigue.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Okay, that explains everything. Can I... So I can't make out any shapes or anything. Or any, like, specific shapes, rather.
Yeah. Roll a perception. Give me a perception check.
Lovely. That would be a 11.
11. you can tell that the shapes that are moving are humanoid. There is a very large figure that is very imposing and a lot bigger than the rest of the figures that are moving around in this area.
Oh boy.
And then you can also see that there's some smaller creatures, and then there's a handful of regular human-sized creatures.
What can I hear?
Again, it's just murmured voices. Your mind is still kind of waking up. You're still a little bit groggy. Not gracky, groggy. But I guess those are actually the same thing. So,
Crocky and
yeah,
groggy.
you can hear just like it sounds like people that are not super far away, but a little bit away from you, just having a conversation.
Okay. This isn't the most proactive thing, but I think she'd just sit there and try to just discern as much as she could about what was going on, because this is very different than how she thought this was going to go. She's just got to sit and just see what she can figure out about all of this, whether that's until she hears somebody else that she knows moving around or talking or something, or somebody comes to her and she's just gonna wait it out, essentially, or not wait it out, but she's gonna sit and wait for a minute.
Okay, so after about 2 minutes, you hear your hearing starts to clear up a little bit, and you hear the voice that is directly in front of you saying, "Yeah, I don't know which one do you think?" And then the larger figure starts to move and says, "Yeah, I'm not quite sure. The big one looks like fun." And the other voice says, yeah, the big one." And you can hear as the larger figure starts to kind of walk towards you, and you hear his footsteps as they grow louder and louder, and his silhouette kind of
shuts her eyes, by the way.
Okay.
Because she's asleep again.
His silhouette kind of covers you, and he blocks out all the light. You close your eyes, and this creature is going to lean down right in front of Grak, and he is going to roar right in your face.
Okay.
Oh.
And Grak, right when he roars, all four of you wake up instantly. So he roars right in front of you. Grak kind of grunts and wakes up with a start. And Grak, you are now cognizant. Can you roll a perception check for me?
Yes.
I want to see what you can see.
That's a total of 20.
20, nice. So yeah, you can see that this figure, and with that perception, you know that the sound of this was from a large black bear.
Yep.
The sound of this roar was from a large black bear.
Okay.
And he's easily 8 feet tall when he's standing straight up.
Dang, he's bigger than me.
And he says, "Are you guys awake?"
What's going on here?
Hey, Robin, the big one's awake. Yeah, just untie him and bring him over here real quick. Okay. And Grak, you feel the bindings behind your back start to get looser. Not the ones that are holding your hands, but the ones that are attaching you to this tree. All four of you are attached to the same large tree trunk.
Okay. Do I
And
also have a sack over my head?
Yes, you do. You have a
Okay.
sack over your head. All four of you have sacks over your head. Now that all of you are awake, you all see the same thing that Trick saw at the beginning. You have a burlap sack, and you can see some light bleeding through it. And he's going to grab your binds, and he's going to lift you up off the ground. And yeah, he rolled a 23 strength, so he's gonna lift you up off the ground. Your feet aren't even touching the ground, and he's just gonna slowly walk over to another place, and he's going to sit you down, and he's going to pull the burlap sack off of your head. And after your eyes kind of adjust, you can see there that it's still nighttime. You are now sitting around what looks like a stone pit, but the floor is completely made of wood planks.
We're sitting around a what?
It looks like a stone fire pit.
Okay.
And you're about 3 feet from the fire. It's not a very big fire. And then 3 feet on the other side of that, a familiar face, Robin, is sitting on the other side of the fire. And the large black bear kind of sits down next to you with a thud, and the end of the log seat that you're sitting on, your end kind of lifts up just a little bit.
Grak doesn't even look at him. He's kind of staring daggers at Robin Hood, and he just like, "What's the deal?"
The deal, my friend. I just want to know what you know. See, I'm a very cautious individual, and I keep my friends close and my enemies closer. I'm just trying to figure out which one of those you are. Friend or foe?
Oh, we only came out this way because you asked us to.
I am aware of that, but you were facing up against a pretty imposing foe out there. I want to know what side you're on.
I'm no friend of the Enchantress, if that's what you're after.
Not many people are, I'll assure you. Here's the information I need to know. Firstly, what is your name?
You can call me Grak.
Grak. Is that your birth name?
Yes.
Grak. That's it?
For now.
I respect that. And he says, Little John, you can cut him loose. And the bear reaches back with a dagger and cuts your binds off. So you're completely free now. You're free to move and do what you will.
Kind of starts rubbing his wrists, trying to get some feeling back into his hands.
And he says, you can find your items over there. And he kind of points down, and you as you turn, you can see that there's a rope bridge connecting the area that you're on and another place. And that's when you realize that you're actually on top of a tree.
Oh, fun.
There's an entire village. As you're looking around, you kind of notice that this area is a glorified treehouse. You're in the central hub. There are different branches going out to different places, and where he pointed to was a platform that's built around a tree, and it looks like the top of the tree was hollowed out, and there's a door. He says, your belongings are over there, and you can go and get those freely, but I just wanted to know, what is your association with the Enchantress? Why would she send Diablo of all people to come after you? You must be important.
Well, we escaped History Island for one thing.
This one's funny. And Little John says, hey, yeah, that guy, he's got a sense of humor.
And Grak's just deadpan staring the whole time.
Wait, you're serious?
He just nods.
Pardon my shock here, but how did you manage that?
Little bit of luck, little bit of magic.
Not many magic users in my company, I assure you, but this is just important for me to know what you are. Pardon my imposition, but you are a half orc, correct?
Yes.
We don't see many half orcs in Aradon. Where did you come from? How did you come to be here, of all places? And on top of that, get arrested? In what place and what person could possibly arrest you besides Little John here? And he gestures to the bear, and the bear just kind of waves with a smile.
That's a bit of a story.
You have nothing but time, I assure you.
Before I begin, can I ask what you intend to do with us? What's gonna happen to my friends back there?
We'll get to them shortly.
We're his friends.
He called us friends.
Yeah.
And the bear turns to you and again roars.
Are we within earshot? This
Oh yeah.
conversation?
They're not super far away, but they're not talking loudly. The tree that you're attached to is about, I'd say, 30 feet from where the stone pit is. And they are sitting on the left and the right side to the direction you're facing. So you can see silhouettes, and all of you did just wake up, so you can't hear exactly what is being said, but it's you can hear a little bit. You can get bits and pieces. So you definitely could hear when he called you friend.
Gotcha. But I wouldn't hear enough to like want to pipe in at any point. That's all I want to know.
No.
Okay.
Trix
and with
definitely
that
whispered
bear
that to
there,
herself.
Actually, I'm gonna do this. Sylvester, Sammy, and Trix, roll me a wisdom.
Okay.
Holy
so
wisdom, if it's to save against being scared.
Yeah, roll the wisdom.
Not that it matters much for me because I rolled a nat 20.
question. You started
I'm a
talking,
21.
and I went ahead and just rolled before you said anything. Can I count that? Okay, I'll roll it again.
Sure. Yeah. No. Just what was it?
15.
15.
Without
okay.
adding anything. Yeah.
He will add your wisdom.
At my wisdom, that would be 17.
17. Okay. He rolled a 23 for intimidation. So all of you are scared enough that you wouldn't pipe in even if you wanted to.
Even though I rolled a nat 20?
Oh, no. Trix, you're not quite scared of this beast because since you were awake a little bit longer, you heard him talking and you know that he's not super intimidating.
Everyone except the small stuffed dog is frightened of the bear.
Yes. Very characteristic. Little John turns and roars at everyone, and Robin says, "Little John, that's not completely necessary here." And he says, "Oh, sorry." And Robin says, "Grak, I just need to know if having you here is a liability or not. What was the situation in which you came to Auradon? And on top of that, how on earth did anyone manage to capture you?"
When he says, "I want to know if you're a liability or not," he just kind of smirks a little bit. And he pauses for a moment, trying to decide how much he's going to divulge, and before he finally just kind of opens up and he says, "I'm a crewman aboard the Free Maiden." Which,
Free Maiden?
I don't know, probably not a super well-known pirate vessel, but it is a pirate vessel, so he might know that. I don't know.
Okay.
We raided a ship just off the coast, Cinderella'sburg, not too long ago.
I'm familiar with Cinderella'sburg.
We didn't know it was a vessel from Aurora.
Ah, I see.
Got on the Enchantress's bad side.
That's not very difficult to task, I assure you.
A couple days later, we ran afoul of another one of her vessels. This time, it was out to get us. I don't know how many of my crew escaped, but I was overtaken in the battle and woke up in the caravan headed for History Island.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Mr. Grak, can I call you Mr.?
He nods.
Mr. Grak, I am quite familiar with Cinderella'sburg, and the shipments that come and go there. The crew that you were with, why choose Cinderella'sburg, I suppose, is the question I'm wanting to ask, is why would you choose such a popular port?
Just happened to be where we were near.
I respect that greatly. Here's the thing. What exactly do you know about your friends over there? And he gestures to the tree.
Not much. Just that we're all enemies of the Enchantress now. And that makes us allies.
I completely agree.
As far as I'm concerned, they've proved themselves in battle to me.
Okay. And he says, Little John, this one seems trustworthy. And Robin kind of stands up and puts his hand out and says, It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Grak.
He shakes his hand. Likewise.
And he says, if you wouldn't mind, over here, and he kind of points down one of the rope bridge paths. All of your equipment is in this storehouse over here, and I have some friends over there that would greatly like to talk to you, if you don't mind.
Where exactly is here?
Exactly where we were when you fell asleep. We are in the wood, on the edge of the East Ridging. Are you familiar with the East Ridging? It's on the coastal line of Grimsville.
I'm aware of it.
Yes, we're in that wood. And he kind of gestures again down the rope bridge.
Okay, he's gonna go kind of gather up his stuff and head that way, I guess.
And he says, Oh, Mr. Grak,
He turns around.
I would appreciate your discretion as I talk to your friends.
He waits a minute, then nods again, and keeps heading down the path.
Okay. And he turns to Little John and says, Little John, the little one, not you, the one that was not frightened by your roar. I'm curious. Can I speak with her? And Little John stands up from his seat, and he walks over to the thing, and Tricks, you can feel your bindings kind of loosen and be cut, and he, obviously, I'm not even going to roll for it, he picks you up and walks over and sits you in the exact same spot that you could tell that Grax's silhouette was in, and he takes the burlap sack off of your head, and he says,
She's still grinning, by the way, from when Grak called them all friends.
Is her tail wagging?
He says,
Yes.
he says, oh, well, hello there.
Hi,
May I ask your name?
Tricks.
Tricks. That is a delightful name. I haven't had the pleasure to meet many people from the 100-Acre Wood, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
The 100-Acre Wood, wow. That is... Before I make any assumptions, can you explain to me... Are you a liability here?
She kind of tilts her head for a second and thought. She's like, "Well, I don't think so. If it's a hard to find place, then I guess however well hidden this place is, you know, if it's real well hidden, then it won't be much of a liability."
You have not ventured out of the 100-Acre Wood, have you?
Not before now, no.
Well, that leads me to my next question. How and why would the Empress capture an animal from the 100-Acre Wood?
She looks like she's
What?
pouting and like her hands are kind of fidgeting. She's like, "I don't even know is the thing. Like I wasn't even doing nothing. I was just trying to go set out and see the world and have fun and learn new things. And then all of a sudden this big old caravan comes along, and next thing I know, I can't even tell what they're saying, and they just swoop me right up and put me right in this thing with shackles and everything. And I'm in there with...
Okay, I understand.
Oh.
So, were you on the path? I don't mean to insult you, but you have a very small stature.
I mean, I was kind of on the side.
Interesting. May I ask why you would want to leave the sanctity of the 100-Acre Wood?
I don't know. Curiosity, I guess. I just
Curiosity.
wanted to see what was outside it, you know? I mean, you hear a couple things and, you know, read a couple things in books, and it makes you real curious about what's out there.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He
I guess
says,
I didn't realize how much of it was bad.
rotten. Yes, I understand. Since you are from 100-Acre Wood, have you ever met, I believe he was a hippo. His name is Itolo. Have you ever met him?
Yeah, he
Yes.
helped us out when we were in the town.
You see his face go from a grin to just straight. And he says, Itolo helped you?
Uh-huh.
In which town? The same one that we were just in?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Itolo is there?
Yeah, he is. Well, no, I could probably tell you. But he said when we saw him in the store he was running, he took us back to a back room and said it wasn't safe. And told us about the safe room up in the tower and gave me a box, which I didn't know was supposed to help me get in the tower because he didn't say nothing about what it was. Just said it was a special package that we'd ordered, even though we didn't order anything. And so we went back into the tower and went all the way up to the top.
Okay. I can probably piece it together from there. The box, you wrote your name on it and unlocked a door.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm familiar. We can talk about that at a later date, but did anything else happen? Did
With Itolo?
Yes.
No.
Interesting. I haven't seen Itolo in a very, very long time. Very interesting. Did you meet anyone else in this town? Was there anyone in the tower when you were up there?
Uh-huh.
There was.
Yeah. He was a magic user and said his name was Merlin, and there was a mouse with him, but I forget what his name. Or did we get his name? I don't remember what it was.
I know Merlin quite well. He's a rascal, and I'm not quite sure of this mouse. Tricks.
Yeah?
I'm going to tell you something.
She sits up very attentively.
You're an archer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The bow you are using is not the weight or size for your body. Where did that come from?
It was an old thing from that it was an old thing
I
from
can't
a
imagine
village.
that it would come from the 100-acre... Does the 100-acre wood make weapons now?
I don't know. It was brought in from somewhere else, but I don't remember what it was.
Interesting.
But,
Well-
I mean, nobody there was going to use it, so I figured it might as well. And they were all
That is
fine with
accurate.
it.
And, are you good with a bow?
I think so.
That is good to know. We'll test that a little bit later on. For now, and he gestures up to the same pathway that Grak went down, and he says, your belongings, including your bow, are in that storehouse right over there. If you wouldn't mind just traveling along this path, I have some people that wouldn't mind making your acquaintance as well. It was a pleasure. And he stands up, and then he kind of realizes that how small you are, and he kneels down, and he puts his hand out, and then he, at that point, realizes that you're still tied up, and he says, John! And little John says, sorry, and he reaches down and cuts the bindings off of you, and he says, my apologies, and he puts his hand out again.
He shakes her hands out for a minute, and then shakes his hand.
Okay. He says, it is my pleasure to meet you, Tricks.
Same!
Right this way. And he gestures along that same path.
Her tail starts wagging as she goes off again.
And he says, John, you have your pick of this one. And John says, okay. And he walks over to Sammy. Sammy, he kind of cuts you from your binds and walks you over and gently sits you down. He says, sorry, ma'am, but Robin's got some questions for you. And he pulls the bag off of your head.
At him with her eyebrow raised.
And he says, hello.
What do you want?
I would just like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Well, I suppose I ain't got nothing better to do.
Robin's gonna stand up and he's gonna move to not the seat next to you, but almost like the seat counterclockwise to you. So if you're sitting at 6 o'clock, he would sit at 12 instead of. So he sits. So the fire is no longer between the two of you. He says, "You are a genie."
That's me, Sammy Jean.
Miss Sammy, it's a fascinating accent. Where does that come from?
Well, I picked it up over there in Lone Keep.
Lone Keep? That's quite a venture. Do you reside in Lone Keep?
Currently.
Currently? Well, I have yet to find anyone who is a resident of Lone Keep that the Queen has had any interest in.
Well,
Do you mind simply explaining to me where you were and why?
well, that's quite a long story, but to cut it real short, my family opened up a nice pub there in Lone Keep, and I've been living there since I was about 5 years old. I was just ready for some adventure, so told my parents I was gonna leave to find a new place, and off I went. Not really sure where I was going, but
Where did you end up?
well, I was in the middle of Camelot.
Really? I'm very familiar with Camelot. My home is actually in the Sherwood Forest.
No way.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Well, I'll be.
You were in Camelot.
Just passing through, trying to make my way, exploring new places, seeing the new places I've never been before.
And how did the venture into Camelot Heights treat you?
Fairly well, and never got into any harm or trouble. There's just passing right along.
None at all?
No.
If you didn't get into any trouble, then how exactly did the Queen's Guard pick you up? I assume that you were picked up the same as the rest?
Correct. I just thought it was a faster way to get somewhere, so I just jumped right on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Really.
You are a brave soul.
Ain't got
I have
nothing
to
to
admit.
lose.
That's amazing.
So you saw this caravan passing by and you jumped in?
About right.
And once it got to History Island, were the guards surprised to see you in the back of their caravan?
I mean, I was just an extra person, I suppose.
But you weren't shackled.
Not exactly. I just jumped right on.
So you got to History Island, seeking this grand adventure, and just willingly let yourself be put in a cage?
Like I said, it was a faster way to get somewhere, and I was trying to get somewhere.
Wow. You are a brave soul, I'll give you that much. And he gestures to Little John, and Little John reaches down and says, "Excuse me, ma'am." And he cuts your bindings. He says, "You said Sammy Jean, correct?"
That's right.
Sammy Jean. That name seems familiar. Have we met before?
I don't think so, unless you were in Camelot when I was there.
I mean, it is quite possible. Camelot's just a arrow fly northeast of the Sherwood Forest, so I've been there quite a few times, but you just seem very familiar to me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but...
Sammy Jean is not my love. 69. I couldn't resist. I was holding that.
No, it was so good. It was so good. I love it. Grok breaks the tension.
Oh, man. Sammy
He
just
says,
jammed along.
He just says, Sammy, is that short for Samantha?
That's right.
Samantha, Jean, and I assume Jean, just like every other genie I've met, is short for Genie.
You are so smart.
I have learned quite a bit in my many, many years. Well, Miss Samantha Genie, it's a pleasure to meet you. I need you to answer an important question for me.
Well, I hope it's not too important, but I'll try my best.
Me and my merry band of misfits here, I just need to know, are you a liability?
A liability?
Are you dangerous? Do you pose a threat to my family?
I mean, I'm a genie, but as long as you don't make me mad, we'll be good.
I don't intend to have a habit of making people mad unless they wrong me or they have too much coin.
Ah.
And he stands and he says, Samantha Genie, it is a pleasure. And he reaches out his hand.
She looks at his hand, uses it to stand up.
He is kind of a little bit shocked and impressed. And he says, well, Miss Samantha, your belongings and 2 of your friends are just down this pathway. And he gestures down the same path. And he says, you have a fantastic night. And he kind of looks up at the sky and he says, yes, night.
Well, you too. And she goes to get her stuff with Tricks and Grak.
Okay. And he looks at John and Sylvester. Your ears have cleared up from this draft that you was bestowed upon you when you fell asleep, and you hear him say to Little John, John, I can swear that I've seen that genie before. Something about her is very familiar. And John says, I've never met her before. And Robin says, I don't know what it is. And he says, go fetch that last one for me. Little John walks over and he says, excuse me, sir.
Yeah? Oh boy, is it my turn?
Hey, Robin? And Robin says, yes, John. And he says, what is this thing? And Robin says, bring him over here so we can ask him.
Currently, I'm hurt.
And John unlatches you and he picks you up, but
careful,
realizing that you're much much heavier than he originally assumed, he kind of struggles and he looks down at you very, very curiously before reaching both hands down to pick you up and walk you over to the thing and set you down and pulls the burlap sack off of your head.
Oh, that was nice.
Robin is still standing from when Sammy left, and he's kind of pacing around the opposite side of the fire. And he says, excuse me.
You're excused.
You look like a gargoyle.
I get that a lot.
Let me rephrase. Are you a gargoyle?
In the stone, that's me.
Well, wow. This is a sight, sir.
Thank you. You look good too.
You, do, and he kind of sits back down, but this time he actually sits on the bench next to you, and he says, "Do all gargoyles, live?"
Hard to say. I think in some way they do, but nah. For the most part, all I know are the ones that were around me.
And where is around you?
Oh, currently I think I'm in a what?
No.
Okay, right.
Where is your home?
I'm from Notre Dame.
I could have assumed as much, but thank you for clarifying.
Well, yeah.
The Notre Dame Cathedral.
No, not the cathedral. We're one of the smaller ones, lesser known.
Yes.
Yeah, still good though. Good foot traffic.
I am well aware. It's a dense population, and the main road to Triton's Bay goes through Notre Dame.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Never really left much before.
So, you are a sentient stone gargoyle?
Yes.
And how? I guess,
Well, my mom and my dad say a bird.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. And he kind of blinks and looks at Little John. Little John just looks at you and looks back at him and just shrugs.
I want to nudge him and say, I'm just kidding. It's a little gargoyle humor. Honestly, I don't know. I just know I walk, I talk, I sing, I dance. I don't know.
When you nudge him, behind you can see Little John. Right when you put your elbow to him, you see right when you put your elbow to Robin, you see Little John kind of perk up and snarl his teeth. And Robin kind of just puts his hand up while you're talking. And John goes back to just being himself. And Robin stands back up and he says, "So, what's your story? You, I assume, just like the rest, escaped History Island and made your way through the Aurora Priory."
That is correct. They actually wouldn't have gotten out of there without me. So, yeah.
And what does that mean?
That means I got us out, did what I had to do, pulled a little whizzies, a couple of bangs, and there we were.
Whizzies and bangs. And he kind of looks at Little John. Little John again just shrugs. And he says,
It's a regional dialect.
I cannot translate, so, what? And he's just confused on so many levels because he's, one, never seen a gargoyle sentient before, and two, he's never heard this dialect, and much less a gargoyle that looks the way you do. And he's just very confused, and he says, regardless of how you managed to gain sentience, and regardless of the way you're dressed, and may I ask why you chose this attire?
Oh, well, you see, humans, I guess most people maybe, aren't exactly too fond of gargoyles, or at least the idea of us being alive, as we have seen just now in the past 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I didn't believe that, honestly, at first. I wanted to be with people. I thought it looked more fun than standing on a building all day. So I went down, and of course everybody screamed and threw things at me. So
Robin sits back down.
I hid. I hid for a while, and I had to disguise myself. So now I look just like a real human, and it makes them less scared of me whenever I sing and dance and prance.
He kind of just has his brows furrowed as he's looking at you.
You like my hair?
He says, I love your hair. He says, I apologize. I know that people can not be understanding of change sometimes. I cannot speak on behalf of all of Aradon, for at least my merry men. We welcome you with open arms. And he gestures to Little John, and Little John cuts your rope. And he says, I did ask your name, but I just want to clarify. Can you say your name for me one more time?
Oh, right. Sylvester.
Sylvester the Gargoyle.
Yes. Well, I just go by Sylvester, like Beyonce.
I'm not quite aware who or what a Beyonce is.
Yeah, she's lesser known. I think she's on her way, though.
Interesting. Is she a bard as well? I assume you're a bard. We have your belongings, and he gestures to where the rest of your party is.
Oh, thank goodness.
He says they're just over there.
Yes, I was wondering about those.
You seem to be a bard.
Yeah, yep. That's me.
What do you play?
just about anything I can get my hands on, really. But my preference is my horn, my lute, and my favorite is the bagpipes.
I am fully aware of your skills with a bagpipe.
Sylvester smiles.
It helped a lot. It helped a lot. It helped me to find you, and I am very appreciative.
Yeah, helped us not
of
to
finding
die.
You. I do my best, and he stands up and he says, "Well, Sylvester," and he puts his hand out and he says, "It is a great, great honor to meet you."
Same.
You shake his hand.
I go in for a hug.
He kind of he kind of like looks at you again, startled and a little bit confused, and again John snarls his teeth, and Robin puts his hand up as if to say no, he's fine, and you hug him, and he kind of gives you like a half side hug, and he says, "Well, let me walk with you, and I'll give you and your party a little bit of a tour." And so you and Robin walk across this rope bridge, and the rest of the party is standing with those 3 young creatures. There is a turtle, there is a very, very small bunny, there is a larger bunny, and then there is a bunny that kind of looks like the larger one, but she has a huge red bow in her hair.
I think we got
in the tuft
Toby's
on top
name in
of
the
her hair.
last episode.
Oh yeah, because they yelled back to him. So you know that the
I carried
turtle's
him.
name is Toby. And the 3 the rest of the party kind of is all standing around talking to these small animals as Robin and Sylvester walks up, and Robin says, "Oh, well, I'm glad everyone has met. My name is Robin," and he kind of turns to Sylvester and he gestures to the kids, and he says, "This is Sylvester and Rebekah-Tricks and Samantha, and you 4. These are." And he points at the small turtle, and he says, "You all know Toby. He's in training." He gestures to the small bunny. He says, "This is Skippy." And Skippy, you can tell, has a green tunic on and an archer's hat, just like Robin's. And Skippy kind of hops up to you, Sylvester, and says,
Oh, hi. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, hi. Hi. Yeah, hello.
and he says,
This is my little sister. Her name is Tagalong.
and the little girl kind of slowly walks over to you, and she kind of barely puts out her hand towards you. You shake it, and she like smiles and just backs up really, really quickly and shyly. And he says,
Over there is my sister. We just call her Sis.
and the one with the large red bow has a very smug look on her face, and she just nods at you. Robin says, "You 4, I see," and he opens the door to the storage tree trunk and pulls out all of Sylvester's stuff, because I assume the rest of you already got all your stuff, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. He
Would have
pulls out
searched through it very carefully to make sure nothing was missing, including his gold.
Yes. Do you
Especially
want to
the gold.
Actually, yeah. Roll investigation.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right. Who's about to die?
On an investigation check? I don't know how that works.
That's a 9.
Oof.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, all your stuff
Thank
is
goodness.
Oh, that's okay. It's concerning.
As far as you know, all your stuff is there. Does anybody else want to check and make sure you have all your stuff?
I mean, he would have taken his time and like gone through everything.
Yeah, but he also rolled a 9, so.
Rolling doesn't always have to determine everything.
I'm good. I just want to hug my bagpipes when I get them.
Okay, you hug them and they go, "Ee." And he says, Skippy, do you want to give these 4 a tour? And Skippy's like,
Yes, sir.
and he kind of salutes at Robin. And Robin says, yes. And he turns around and he says, and this is Little John. and the bear kind of lumbers towards you guys, and he kind of puts his big bear paw out and says, yes, my name is Little John, and it's nice to meet you all. And he kind of puts his hand out, and he says, Robin, can I talk to you over here for a minute? And Robin says, if you will all excuse me. And they walk across another rope bridge to the top of another tree, and Skippy says,
All right. So, you guys want to just follow me?
Absolutely.
Where are we
Behind
going?
ya.
I was just gonna give you a tour.
and he's kind of just looking up at Grok.
Grok looks over at Robin Hood for a second, says, looks back at Skippy. We coming back?
Well, there's not many places to go. We're on top of trees.
Fair enough.
And he kind of turns and starts hopping down. And he gives you the tour. I'm not going to do it as him, but I'm just going to read off what all is on this. So there's a large center tree that the top of it looks like it was completely chopped off. So there's a flat platform on the top. But the center, probably in a 6-foot diameter, is hollow, going all the way down to the ground. Inside the tree, there's a spiral staircase going down, and hollowed out inside of that main tree, there are stations with hammocks hanging on the inside of the tree. So as you're going down, you're passing different hammocks, and you can tell that they belong to the other people. And he kind of just points down and explains all that to you as you're standing at the top of the tree. And then he walks to the if you're looking at it from like a map, if you go west, there is a fletching station. So this is where they make bows. And he says,
Mr. Robin is teaching us all how to be archers, and so we have been practicing our archery skills.
And he pulls a bow off of his back and kind of holds it up in the air.
And he says, I am the best out of all the kids, but I've still never beaten Mr. Robin because he's very good at shooting arrows.
Tricks can take you.
What?
And he kind of looks at Tricks and he says,
Are you an archer?
Yeah.
"Oh!" And he, you where the fletching table is, down the path, like there's kind of a rope, fencing going all the way around the platform. And he says,
You see that target over there?
and about 60 meters out, there's a target on a different tree.
60 meters?
Or not 60 meters, 60 feet.
Say,
What is that in
meters, I was about to
freedom
say
units?
60 miles.
60 miles out, about 60 feet out, there's a target crudely painted on a tree.
And he says, I'll
I
bet you
see
10
it.
gold I can hit the bullseye before you.
Well, I mean, I'm only at 15, so I don't really have much to bet on anything.
But if you win, you get more.
But if I don't, I'll lose 10.
Well, how about this? You do 5 and I'll do 10, and if you win, I'll give you my 10, and if you lose, then I'll give you I'll get your 5.
Okay.
Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. You're just gonna do this as a D20, and you're going to add your.
It's a good thing kids don't really know how to bet.
Yeah.
This is called gambling.
You're
We're
going
family
to
friendly,
add,
right?
Yeah, it's a friendly little wager. It's not a bet. It's a wager.
Sylvester's gonna look for the slot machines.
There's no slot machines.
Where's the casino?
Come on, Green.
What's
Okay.
What's a casino?
Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have you roll a D4.
Oh, a D4.
And this is the way this is going to work. I'm going to roll a D4 as well. And a 1 hits bullseye. 2 is the ring outside of bullseye. 3 and 4 are farther out on the target.
The only time that you actually want to roll a 1.
Yes. So this is the competition. If neither of us get a 1, then we roll again. Okay?
Okay.
And he says,
You can go first.
All right. She pulls out her giant longbow.
And he says, Whoa. That's a little big.
Yeah. I haven't used it all that much, but it's worked out for me pretty well so far.
and he
And she
says,
takes aim.
I guess we'll see about that.
I rolled a 4.
all right, so you fire it and it just kind of hits the tree outside of the target. And he says,
Ooh. I mean, at least you hit the tree, right?
Yeah.
he says,
You should see Tag Along a shoot. She can't even hit the tree.
and he is going to, he pulls out his bow, he knocks an arrow and he fires it. He hits the inside of the target, but it's just below yours, and so it's I rolled a 3, so he it hits inside your target, and he's like,
Okay, I guess it's your turn.
All right. She also rolled a 3.
so yours hits like the same ring, but on the other side, and he's like,
Wow, you are pretty good.
and then he's gonna take out another arrow, and
She grins at that.
he rolled a 2, so it's gonna get a little bit closer.
We're just slowly narrowing it down.
Yeah. A little bit closer. It's gonna hit right outside the bullseye, and he's like,
Man,
Whew,
that was a close one.
that was really close. Another 3.
another 3. So again, just hits on the outside of the thing. All right, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. We're gonna keep going until somebody gets a 1.
All right.
So I'm gonna roll. That's a 3,
4,
4,
3.
1.
Ah.
He pulls back the bow again, and he's like,
This time I got it. Like Mr. Robin says, I have to focus.
and he kind of closes one eye and pulls back the string and lets it go, and it hits dead center. And he's like, ha ha! And he turns to you and he says, he puts out his hand and he says,
That's 5 gold.
Yeah. All right. He pulls out the 5 gold and gives it to him.
and as you pull out the 5 gold, an arrow flies past both of you in between you, straight through the other arrow and
Classic.
splitting it in half. And Robin is standing behind you and he says, you still have a lot to learn. And and Skippy turns and looks at him, and his eyes grow 3 times, and he's like,
Mr. Robin,
and he says, I know what you were doing, remember? And he kind of kneels down and puts his hand on Skippy's shoulder, and he says, we only steal from the rich. And he's like,
I know.
and he reaches his hand out and pushes, kind of closes, man, I can't talk right now. He closes Trix's hand over her 5 gold, and he says, you just hold on to that.
Okay.
And he says, would the 4 of you come with me, please?
Adds the 5
And
gold back
he-
onto my character sheet.
He walks back to where that stone fire pit is, and that stone fire pit is just to the on the north side of the hole that's in the tree that goes straight down into the like the sleeping chambers inside the tree. And he sits down. Are you guys going?
I
Yeah,
will,
absolutely.
And I will also
We're on
sit
our way.
if there's room. Yes.
So the 4 of you walk over and sit, and Toby, Tagalong, Sis, and Skippy all come and sit down, as well as Little John. Everybody kind of sits down around this fire, and he says, okay, I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I was not an enemy of the crown until somewhat recently. We were out on our practice range, right outside of the Sherwood Forest, and a caravan of wagons passed by, and he kind of looks down. He is rubbing his hands together, and he says, my Marion, was out collecting berries, and she didn't come back. We heard the caravan roll in. We heard her scream, and we tried to chase after them, but we were not fast enough. He says, "You four escaped History Island. And he kind of takes a bow off of his back, and he's kind of holding it. And Tricks, you notice that this bow is ornately engraved on like the side of the wood. Is it almost tells a story. And he says, "This is Marion's bow. This was all that we found. It was lying in the rubble. And, I need her back. Every clue that I've found points to History Island. We were on our way there, and it's... Luckily, I heard the bagpipes. We set up this camp, and... I was venturing out on my own for a patrol, and these hoodlums, and he kind of gestures to all the kids, and all the kids just like slyly grin. He says, "They followed me. It was a miracle that I heard your blast when I did. Diablo is not someone that you want to mess with. I've had a fair share of run-ins with Diablo. We actually made a deal quite a long time ago that the crown does not touch the Sherwood Forest. It was not really a deal, as more as a threat at the end of an arrow. But regardless, no one in the Sherwood Forest has been taken before. So we didn't quite know what to do. I need your help."
I can get arrested again if you want.
No, not that kind of help, Sylvester. I appreciate your
Wouldn't be hard. I can run out there right now.
Chutzpah?
Oh, okay.
I appreciate your chutzpah, Sylvester, but not that kind of help. You see, Trix told me a little bit about your adventure outside of the Priory. That small village?
Oh, yeah.
Which one again?
The one we were just in.
That's the one I got knocked out at.
Right.
Did we never get the name of that village?
No.
That's why Trix only said the town.
Johnny, do you even have a name for that village?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He says, your adventure in that village, the village name is Corania, by the way. I don't know if did any of you know that?
Corania?
Grak shrugs.
Corania, yes. That village is secured and procured by the guard of the capital city. I imagine that you didn't have any run-in with any guards on the way before I met up with you.
Oh, right. That town we were just in with the weird the old guy. Yeah, no, I remember now. No guard.
The weird old guy. and he just is chuckling, and he said, "Which one? Markillan or Talon?"
I didn't ask his name. Didn't like him. This had nothing to do with it. I think he had like a fake leg or something. Not part of it. Completely separate. I dislike of him.
That would be Markillan. He
was Markillan me. Hated that guy.
He owns the potion shop. Markillan, the potion shop with the tower that goes really high into the air. Yeah. Yes, the wishing well. He's partially blind, I hear, and and he kind of looks down at a pouch that's on his hip, and he unclips it and opens it, and he pulls out a pair of glasses, and he says, Yes, I'm very familiar with Markillen.
He has his glasses.
He puts the glasses back in the.
I love
He puts the
Robin
glasses
Hood now.
back
I
in his
love
pouch.
him. 100%.
Stealing old people's glasses.
Oh, that's the best.
He says, if you met Markillen, did you happen? I know Trix did, but did anyone else happen to meet Merlin?
We were all
We
together.
all did.
Yeah, I think he shot Sammy.
He shot Sammy,
He sure
yeah.
did.
and he kind of snaps his fingers and he points at Skippy and says, Skippy, go wake Merlin. And Skippy hops up out of his seat and he says, yes, sir, and runs down that spiral staircase in the center of the tree.
He's freaking
Grok
here.
says,
He's here?
Merlin's here.
Where else would Merlin be?
I don't know.
He ran off in the opposite direction, I thought.
Last we spoke with him, he was leaving the tower because we were being attacked by guards. We were supposed to meet up with him again, I think. We lost track of him.
He's a wily one. I came across Merlin not too long ago, but he is a very, very talented wizard for someone of his age. He possesses powers that I didn't even know existed. I sent him back to the tower because he told me that he had a magical scroll, and I didn't believe him, and he said that he would go and get it. And that was the last I saw him until we found you all, and
Grok starts rummaging through his bag.
okay. He says, until we found you all, and Merlin scampered back in and went right to bed.
He's looking for the scroll.
Okay.
Is it still there? Does
Yes.
he find it?
Yes, the
Okay.
scroll is definitely still in your bag. I'll go ahead and tell you this. Robin only steals from the rich, or someone that he has a vendetta against, and none of you are those things. So
Okay.
he has no reason. The main reason that he wanted to interrogate you before letting you free was basically to know what was up, and also if he wanted to give your stuff back.
And to narrate our backstories.
Yes.
Yeah.
and
So
to
the
narrate. Thank
audience
you.
knows more
that's
about
some
us.
meta gaming. Thank you so much, Noah.
Grok pulls out the folded up scroll and says, "You mean this scroll?"
And he looks at the scroll and he says, I have no earthly idea. And Skippy hops back up the stairs and he says, Merlin's coming. And he goes and hops and sits back down. And all of you kind of turn and look toward this spiral staircase as a young boy, the same boy that you met in the tower, kind of walks up the stairs holding a staff, and he's in a light blue nightgown that has yellow stars all over it. And he says, oh, what do you guys want?
Trix waves.
And
Nice jam
he
jams.
sees. Thanks. He sees the scroll in Grok's hand, and he says, "Oh yeah, I completely forgot." And he runs over, and he
forgot about the search for his dad.
no, not the
forgot
search for
about
his
that.
dad. He forgot that he was going to get the scroll. He forgot that he was going back to the tower to get the scroll.
Okay.
After
right,
the
my
guards
bad.
got there, he just dipped out. He says, "Oh yeah, Robin, this is the scroll I was telling you about." And Robin says, "This one right here," and he kind of puts his hand out to you, Grok, as if to say, "Can I see it?"
Grok hands it over, and as he's doing that, kind of turns to Merlin and says, "Where's your little mouse friend?"
Merlin kind of looks sheepish and says, "Huh, I don't know what you're talking about, sir." And he walks over and sits down on one of the logs. And Robin kind of looks at him confused and looks back at you confused.
Who
And he
Grok also
opened-
looks confused.
he opens the scroll, and he's looking at it for a long time, and then he just says, I have no idea what this says.
Good. I was hoping that would be it. I can't read this.
And he says, Merlin, do you have any idea what this says? And Merlin points at Sammy and says, she does.
Oh, me? Yeah, I do. I read it.
And he
Somehow.
he holds the scroll out to you, Sammy.
And Sammy's gonna take it and open it, and I guess she's gonna read it. But she's
Okay,
really
so
not.
I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this again to you guys. So Sammy, you read it, and it says, opening a portal to a world's new. Follow the steps, here's what to do. In the east rests a quaint little town. Find the king's mark, a shield upside down. And you read that, and Robin says, the king's mark in a quaint little town to the east, that's obvious. He kind of looks around.
Yeah, it is.
And says, is it not obvious?
Obviously.
Me as a player looking at the map, I think it's pretty obviously King Georgetown. I don't know how familiar Gronk is with that part of the world, or how often they sail those waters. It is on the ocean, just about though.
I will say this. This is kind of meta, but you did say that you've sailed across the East Ridge in that seafront. So you've been to Hooks Bay.
They've kind of been all over the place.
So I think Grok, you would be familiar with King Georgetown.
Okay. Sounds like King Georgetown to me.
That's exactly what I was thinking. King Georgetown. There's a lot of king's marks, but I've never seen a shield upside down before. Interesting. And he says, well, looks like we're going to King Georgetown. And he stands up and he says, oh, one more thing. Tricks, would you please accompany me for a moment?
Sweet rabbit.
Sweet rabbit. Tricks, do you follow?
I do.
He walks over to the eastern side, so away from the fletching station, where there is another tree trunk that has a door on it. I wouldn't say trunk. It's a hollowed out part of the top of a tree that has a door on it. But this door has a lock, and he kind of kneels down, reaches in his pocket, and takes out a key and unlocks the door. And he opens it, and he says, Tricks, if you are going to be an archer, you need better equipment.
Her eyes get real wide.
He reaches into the tree trunk, and he's like rummaging around a little bit. And he says, no, none of these will do. And he looks at you and he says, I'm going to loan you something. It is very important to me. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And he takes Marion's bow off of his back.
Oh.
And he says, Tricks, Itolo is an old friend of mine, and if he trusts you, so do I. He says, will you guard this with your life?
She nods very, very earnestly.
He says, okay, and I am expecting this back.
Of course.
And he hands you this ornately carved, it's the wood is stained jet black, and the carvings on the sides are kind of a maroon red. And along the side of the bow, it is the story of how Marion and Robin Hood met.
Oh.
Very sweet.
So in game terms, he just gave you a bow that is called the Marion. And it is a long bow, and it is the damage roll is 1d8 plus 6, and that's why I asked what your damage was before, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't giving you a bow that you already could be more powerful than. So he hands it to you.
You said it's 1d8 plus 6 on its own?
Yes, so it would be plus your 2 after that.
My God.
Okay.
And he says,
She very, very gingerly takes the bow, by the way.
he says, "Now, Tricks, I don't mean to seem crass, but if anything happens to this bow, something will happen to you."
And she just nods.
He kind of pets the top of your head, and he walks back with you guys. He walks back with Tricks to the stone circle, and he sits and he says, "Well, everyone, we'll find a place for you to rest, but tomorrow, it looks like we're heading east to King Georgetown." Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Keys to the Kingdom Origins. I am your DM. My name is Johnny.
I'm Noah. I play Sylvester.
I'm Rachel, and I play Sammy.
I'm Daniel, and I play Grakarut.
And I'm Rebekah, and I play Tricks.
Thank you guys so much. We will see you next time. Have a magical day.
We're from